What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Oscar Dela Hoya. Oscar Dela Hoya says about, first, Eddie Hearn. He said, I was intrigued by Eddie Hearn's solo interview with the Anthony Joshua versus Ruiz rematch without the fighters, which was a first. And he said it was very odd, but we do things very differently here in America, said De La Hoya. But I think that if the fight happens, which is obviously going to happen, he's going to be rooting for Andy Ruiz since he is a Mexican and a Mexican-American, okay? He's a guy that he says you can't count out Joshua because he's a guy that may have readjusted his game plan and have gone back to the gym and got serious about boxing and not trying to be a celebrity. Okay, so we'll see. That's what De La Hoya said about Anthony Joshua. Now, the funny thing about De La Hoya saying this, he felt that Anthony Joshua is too busy, or was too busy, being a celebrity, got too comfortable, was worried about the wrong things. And I have to agree. I think that Joshua was worried more about his brand instead of what got him there in the first place, especially when it came to fighters. But like me counterpunching this, everything that was going on had lose-lose all over it, people. I mean, he didn't know who he was going to fight. He didn't even meet the guy. He didn't know shit about Andy Ruiz. He admitted that he met the guy and he was looking at tapes and shit like 3 hours up all night for three. No, he didn't even know who he was fighting. Of course it was Miller, then possibly Ortiz, then Ruiz. So there's no way of him knowing, on top of everything else he had to worry about being himself, with all the sponsorships, endorsements, responsibilities other than fighting or boxing into the ring. Anytime when you spar 8 days before the actual fight, you haven't been doing what you're supposed to be doing to prepare yourself for this fight. You're not doing it, and he wasn't doing it. So Oscar De La Hoya is right on that. You can't count Joshua out, but then he says Andy Ruiz may have his number. That could be a possibility, okay? So one thing I want to add to you guys, if Andy Ruiz has Anthony Joshua's number, if he has his number, that's not to say everyone else has Anthony Joshua's number. It's always someone that has a perfect style that can totally offset your style of fighting. A shorter guy like Andy Ruiz, even when they clinch, if you could tell when they clinch, he can just punch upward. You know what I mean? Because he's so short that it's like, it was almost like Anthony Joshua was hugging a midget or a little person, right? So, like a kid, you know what I mean? So imagine you're trying to hold a kid and he's punching upward at you, still trying to punch you in the face. That's how that was. And it was even awkward to see Joshua even grab him or, clinch him, right? So that wouldn't really work, just to, clinch him up, and then who's to say he really knows how to clinch or really wants to clinch, because Joshua's not really a big clincher. You know what I mean? I think he needs to take that Klitschko class, that jab and grab. It might be ugly, it might be unexciting, but it works. Anyhow, back to Oscar De La Hoya. De La Hoya knows, and I think he knows because he's been that celebrity. He's been that guy that was Hollywood. You know what I mean? Or was a celebrity, so to speak. And he was involved in a lot of things, being a singer. Then he started his promotional company. Then he was trying to fight all at the same time. So he was doing that. So the question would be, maybe he is looking at Anthony Joshua and thinking of the things that he made a mistake on, with those gift decisions that he was blessed with when, at the same time, because Felix Stern beat Oscar De La Hoya, right? A lot of fights that were kind of strange, that he won, especially in the 90s. And he was regarded as that golden boy, so to speak, then, and he got the torch from being the golden boy, right? From Sugar Ray Leonard, which was the golden boy of that time. So it passed down from him from the 80s to the 90s, which Oscar De La Hoya began his professional career. And he know what it's like to have all those obstacles of being a celebrity. Now, the funny thing about Joshua, as far as, he got too comfortable, well, maybe so, but then Joshua don't have a big mansion. He still stays in an apartment. So, maybe that's just an outward, view of Joshua without really knowing who Joshua is. But me knowing everything that he was involved in, such as sponsors and endorsements and all that stuff. Yeah. And, and definitely it was, it can be distracting to say the least, but something Oscar De La Hoya needs to realize is that Anthony Joshua didn't know who he was going to fight. So now he does. Now he does have a solid target, unless Ruiz pops dirty or some crazy stuff like that, right? Which I doubt. But anyway, that's Oscar's view on things. You guys tell me what you think about Oscar De La Hoya's statements. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.